Okay, so it has a rat trap at the bottom, which you can get at your battery. Now, I've not actually pulled one of these apart before, so anything could happen.
Oh, this will be novel.
Yeah.
That looks like a LiPo.
Yes, it is.
Lithium poly battery.
There we go.
Okay. 1000 milliamp hour. 5C lithium poly battery. They're not expensive to actually get spares of, to be honest.
No, it would be nice to have
batteries these days. Although saying that, I presume this is going to last quite a while.
Yeah, well, I haven't been given any battery data, so I don't know. I would imagine in the thousands, 5,000.
Yeah.
Expect maybe more.
Okay. So to charge this back up again, are you going to have to?
There's a battery charger in there, so I imagine you could either leave it in stock and plug the lead in.
Whereabouts is the plug?
Well, it was attached to here.
Okay.
So you'd unplug this and plug that straight into the charger.
Yeah.
Or you could take it out or put a spare in. It's up to you if you want to buy one.
Okay.
Oh, let's leave that there. So there we have it, and you can see the works here, which is the display screen.
Yeah.
Which I think they've left the plastic on. Sorry about this.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We'll leave it on.
Yeah, leave it on.
Yeah. And you can. That should then instigate and get working. I've taken the battery off, so it's not going to work.
No.
But you can see there the housing, which contain the electronics.
Yeah,
There's the circuit board.
Yeah, that looks so. They didn't have this before, did they? This cover's coming when?
No, this has been on Pulsar.
That's just on the Pulsar.
Pulsar
Yeah.
as well. So that's exactly the Pulsar unit.
Does that make it waterproof, or is it just as an extra layer of
No,
damage protection?
no, that should have come off.
Right.
They should have taken that off at the factory. Somebody's left it on.
The little sticker. But what about this plastic box here?
It's not waterproof. There's no sealing there, and you can see the gaps.
Right. Okay.
I would be probably more concerned about sealing water in and getting water out, because the board itself will be waterproof anyway.
Yeah.
Or some waterproofing in it. But it seems to be, as we know, the Pulsars haven't failed at all. So clearly the sealing is good enough.
Yeah, I think we mentioned on the last video actually about the reliability of the Pulsar.
Yeah.
It's been excellent.
And then
really.
they've bolted on a conventional trigger unit.
Yes.
Below the bottom, so you've got that. This one's trigger has not been set up right. The trigger, it hasn't got any second stage on it. It fires, but it doesn't seem to have any second stage.
To be honest,
but it's relatively easy to adjust.
Standard thing. I
But
just shoot that fast this morning, and that's exactly the same.
Yeah,
it's a
you'd
two-stage
expect it to be
digital
better
trigger, and it's not been set. But at least the capabilities there.
That's essentially this little device here. This is a pressure sensor, which is basically your electronic regulator. So when people talk about, is it regulated? This has got an electronic sensor which is recording the pressure from the air cylinder to two decimal places, and then it feeds that information back to the microprocessor.
Right.
Very clever stuff. But not new, because this is the map composite technology, and it was in the Airwolves in 2008. So that's been incorporated into this rifle.
Yeah.
So it's not new. It's a new rifle, but the technology and everything on it is.
Which is so.
Right.
I mean that map business that's been a while, and that's sort of quite proven now.
10 years.
Do you know what? I don't mind that, to be honest with you, because it means that the things that have probably been tested.
Yeah, it's pretty reliable, isn't it?
Yeah, and
these don't go wrong because the sensor inside. This is a custom unit for Daystate, but the sensor inside it is actually really used in car engines.
Right.
Thousands, millions of cycles these things go through normally.
Okay.
So you're never going to do any damage to it.
Right.
Good. Anything can go wrong, but that's a pretty solid unit.
Good.
And then you can see the carbon bottle in all its glory.
Yeah.
And you can see there's actually slightly more gap between the new rifle and the old. They've obviously increased the gap slightly.
I think I saw it was at the SHOT Show where there was very, very little gap between one of the ones on display.
Yeah, well, because originally the Airwolf was designed this wasn't invented when the Airwolf was designed. So when the carbon bottles came along, the winding was a bit up and down, as you can imagine. It's not like
it's not smooth. Yeah.
So you'll get one or two which will touch. So people used to say, "Oh, can I fit a carbon bottle to my Airwolf?" And the answer is maybe. It depends on the actual bottle. But what you don't want is to go through boxes of bottles to find one to send to somebody and send it back. It won't fit to my gun. So generally on Airwolves, the answer was no. Mm-hmm. They were fitted for the American market, but they were then custom tried at the factory. But it was a pain. Now they've obviously increased the gap slightly to get rid of that problem as they move forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. There we are.
Yeah, I mean it's there's some really nice engineering about it. I just I'm sort of growing on it. I'd like to see the standard ones. I presume are going to be out fairly soon, are they?
I don't know. I imagine so. It'll be down. I think somebody told me that they were just starting on production of them now.
Right. Yeah.
So
okay. So we'll get them on the show.
Yeah,
as soon as
you've
they're
had
available.
your ones of these, and this is one of your two, and I think they haven't got through all of these yet, but then they'll start on the production ones. They usually overlap, don't they? I mean, I think on the Serie Rosso, on the Pulsar, when they started that, it was months to get them all through. There's only so many parts going to come in, limited amount of stocks, limited amount of red bits.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in one of these, I don't know whether there'll be any left, unfortunately, but you could always ring your local dealer and check availability. Who knows? There might be a few hanging around still.
You've seen one now, haven't you?
Yeah, everybody's seen one, so that's great. Right, okay, well, thank you for sort of taking us through that. Okay, next we're going to do the chapper. So we'll be back shortly. We'll get this cleared up and then we'll show you the chapper 611. See you in a minute.